Hello, my name is Andrea Wynn. I am a dream whisperer and a heroic leadership coach, and I have suffered from anxiety for years. And I am offering this video series as a way of sharing strategies that I have discovered and created to be able to overcome anxiety. So today's episode is about sleep, and specifically, I am addressing strategies for both crisis level problems and also bad habit level problems with sleep. So I think that the first question that is important for any of us to ask is, how important is sleep? And I know for me, the importance of sleep really drove home when I first heard that sleep deprivation is one of the worst forms of torture that is used with prisoners of war. And so I thought that I would just actually look up something that an expert has to say about this to share with you, just because indeed I do want to convince you of how important regular sleep is. So the quote that I have found is from a psychologist named Dr. Kelly Bulkeley. And what he says is that prolonged sleep deprivation is an especially insidious form of torture because it attacks the deep biological functions at the core of a person's mental and physical health. So, just to repeat that, it attacks the deep biological functions at the core of a person's mental and physical health. So, that right there should be enough to convince you of how important stabilizing your sleep is. So, as I said, two levels of strategies that I want to offer today. The first one is for the crisis level. For myself, I got to explore this level when my dearly beloved cat, Ashe Chondro, died a little over a year ago. And she was nearly 19 years old. She was my best friend. And we had a very intimate relationship for many years, and she was a big part of my life. So when she died, there was a huge shakeup in my life, in my heart. And as a result, one of the results is I was having a very hard time getting to sleep at night. My mind was racing. There were images sort of just like crashing in on me, especially of the last night when she had died, just images of various experiences that we'd been through with her experience of dying. And so I was feeling quite tortured, and I couldn't go to sleep at night. And when I would finally get to sleep, then I would wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and then again not be able to get back to sleep. So for me, I'm calling this a crisis level problem around sleep. And so a strategy that someone suggested to me was to take melatonin. Probably won't be helpful to show this to you because I think the words are going to be backwards on the video. But basically, what I did is I went across the street to the pharmacy, picked up some basic melatonin, and placing 2 or 3 of these little tablets under my tongue, and they dissolved. And I was indeed able to start going to sleep at night. So this was a godsend, the melatonin. It says right here on the label, it helps reset the sleep-wake cycle. So that was very helpful for the crisis level, and it is not something to be used ongoing. It says it right there on the label. I think it's only effective for short term, but it can be really awesome in its effectiveness for dealing with a crisis in your sleep pattern. So the next level that I would like to move on to is sleep bad habits. So basically, even after I was able to start getting to sleep at night after my sleep crisis, I still was having a problem with bad sleep habits. I was going to bed too late at night, like 11:30 at night. I was watching Netflix and basically kind of like trying to exhaust myself to go to sleep. I was depressed. There was a mild depression that I was experiencing, which was natural after the loss of such a dear friend. And I was not completely caring about myself. I don't know if you've ever noticed that in yourself, but there can be times in life where we are not feeling 100% energized to take care of ourselves. So I was in that kind of situation. I was in coping mode. I was doing the best that I could. And at the same time, I was sliding off my plate around this area of sleep. I was getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep at night. It was irregular. My time of going to sleep was irregular. My time of getting up was irregular. Things were pretty out of whack. And so just remembering back to that quote from Dr. Bulkeley, this does wreak havoc at the biological level, and it erodes a sense of well-being, mental and physical health. So it was a problem. So basically, like in my journey around working with this, what I have found has really been the turning point for me was doing a 21-day sleep challenge late last fall. This was something that I created. We've all heard the literature that in 21 days you can change a habit. And so I basically used that knowledge in order to design a 21-day sleep challenge to stabilize my sleep. My goal was to go to bed by 10 o'clock and to be able to get up in the morning at 6 a.m. every day for 21 days. So the first thing that I did is that I found a most excellent sleep challenge partner. Somebody in my life who's really on it, who's really keen, and who also was having some sleep issues. And so we partnered up to do this 21-day sleep challenge together. And basically the way that I organized it is I set up an internet-based spreadsheet that we both had access to, and we filled in 3 things for every day for 21 days. The first thing was the time that we got up in the morning. The second thing was the time that we turned our light out at night. And the third thing was reflective notes. Just basically it's a chance of reflecting on what happened in that day. And if there was some challenge, then what was the challenge? If things went well, then what helped it go well? So that was an important piece, that reflection, the notes in the third column. So basically, through doing the 21-day sleep challenge, I was able to observe patterns that were happening in the way that I was living my life and the way that I was sleeping. And once I observed patterns, I was then able to make adjustments. So it was so helpful to actually bring forward the things that were preventing me from being able to have a regular sleep, and then to start to look at how I could adjust things. So basically, my difficulty with sleep was no longer a blur. It became clear. I was able to bring some real clarity to what was happening around my sleep and to start to work with what was going on. So I feel it is important to really highlight the power of partnership. So as I said, I invited somebody to do this with me, and basically by having somebody else there, then that meant if I fell off of my own plate, then somebody else would know. Basically, if I decided to stay up really late at night to watch Netflix, then I would have to log the late lights out night in the sleep log, and also in the note section I would share, what happened there, that I watched Netflix till really late. I, of course, did not want to do this. It mattered to me because somebody else would know. It's just just having somebody as a witness there can make a huge difference for being able to stick on my plate. So basically, by having a partnership with someone who was very present in this challenge, it really helped me to regain an attitude of caring about myself. So that was very, very important to me because I had lost that sense of caring about my sleep after Ashe's death. So it was really important to be able to regain that sense of, yes, I do care about this and I am willing to take steps to correct it. So basically, the 21-day sleep challenge created a container of 21 days of real focus to make a change in this pattern. So the last thing that I would like to share is just some specific techniques that I have used that really helped me to be able to actually sleep. Because it's one thing to say, yes, I want a regular sleep pattern. I want to get to bed at 10 o'clock every night. But what do you do if you shut out the light at 10 o'clock, but you are not feeling at all like you can sleep. So just like to share 4 different tips, strategies for that. First of all, what I have discovered is I cannot eat chocolate at night. I really like eating 85%, 88% chocolate, but I've noticed that if I eat chocolate at night, my system is buzzy when I am trying to go to sleep. And when I don't eat chocolate at night, my system is not buzzy. So because I observed that, it's very easy for me to refrain from eating chocolate at night because I really do like being able to go to sleep at night. The second thing is Tulsi Holy Basil tea. I have found this to be really relaxing. I even have a mug right here of the Tulsi Sweet Rose tea. I find it a very beautiful experience to drink a sweet rose tea, going back to the resonances of beauty that I talked about in the video last week. But the sweet rose is my favorite, but this company, which is called Organic India, they also have a Tulsi Sleep tea, which promotes calm, restful sleep. Tulsi Holy Basil with relaxing, restorative herbs. I really am finding the Tulsi Holy Basil to be very relaxing to my system. So I wanted to include that as one of the strategies to help you to be able to be in a place to go to sleep when you want to go to sleep. The third strategy, and this may be pushing the limits of playfulness for a video, is your pajamas or your nightgown, basically your nightwear. For me, I have a very favorite sleepwear that I love to wear. It is my Avalokiteshvara nightshirt. And basically it's very soft. And because I'm a Tibetan Buddhist, it's meaningful for me to have this God of compassion, such powerful compassion on my nightshirt. In some ways I feel held by his 100,000 arms of compassion for going to sleep at night. So it really helps me to be able to relax and to be able to sleep more deeply. So you might want to take a look at what you're sleeping in, and is it a really nice experience to be able to put your sleepwear on? Or if it's not, then maybe you could invest in something that would give you that nice experience for having a restful and sacred sleep. And my final tip is probably the most important one, is a relaxation technique. Again, you may find yourself, I have found myself arriving at 10 o'clock, shutting out the light, but not feeling relaxed, not being ready to go to sleep. So I'm not having that situation so much anymore. But in the beginning, during the sleep challenge, I definitely had this situation pretty much every night. And so what I used was a relaxation technique that I learned as a child. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to learn it. And so I would just like to share this relaxation technique with you, in case it might also help you to be able to relax your body and to go to sleep. And so basically, I work my way from the bottom of my body all the way up to the top of my body, relaxing each part of my body. And so there's a specific formula, and I believe that this formula is very well created because it has this impact that I think it causes your mind to go along with it more than maybe more bossy kind of formulas. This one is a very inviting kind of formula. So the way that it goes is I start with my toes. So my toes are beginning to relax. My toes are relaxing. My toes are relaxed. My feet are beginning to relax. My feet are relaxing. My feet are relaxed. My ankles are beginning to relax. My ankles are relaxing. My ankles are relaxed. So I just do that for each piece of my body, working all the way up. I go up the back, then I go up the front, and when I reach my shoulders, then I go down my arms, each piece of my arms, my wrists, my hands, doing my throat, my neck, back of my head, the sides of my head, top of my head, my face. And just working my way through my body, like I'm usually out like a light, like before I even get past my waist. But occasionally, and again, back in the beginning when I started working with this, sometimes I would get all the way to my face. I would still feel awake. And so the idea that occurred to me that I tried was I just tried going through the process a second time, starting again at my toes and working my way up again. And I always fell asleep before reaching it, the top, the second time. I think that this strategy is also really helpful because it gives your mind a way of focusing. So like for me, so that my thoughts are not circling around, I'm not thinking about other things. I am bringing my focus into this very repetitive and embodied. It's getting me into my body by going through each piece of my body, bringing my awareness to each piece of my body. In a way, the repetitiveness of it is kind of like counting sheep. It really is a wonderful way of relaxing the body and calming my mind. So I hope that you may give it a try and that it may help you as well if you have trouble going to sleep when you want to go to sleep. It works great for taking naps as well. I use it any time of day, and it's really been a wonderful, simple technique for relaxing and being able to go to sleep. So I do hope that you have found something within this presentation that will be of help to you in your journey of stabilizing your sleep and ultimately of overcoming anxiety. I would be very pleased to share a link to the 21-day sleep challenge spreadsheet that I used with my sleep challenge partner. I'll just take our data out of it, and my hope is that if you want to give it a try, that you could just copy the spreadsheet and try it with somebody that you'd like to do a sleep challenge with. So on that note, I am really from my heart wishing blessing on your journey of overcoming anxiety, and specific to our topic today, I am wishing blessing on your ability to care about yourself, to care about your sleep, and to stabilize your sleep. So I wish blessing on your journey.